In this video, I'm going to show you how to book your IELTS test online in Singapore. I'm going to go through step by step what you need to do to book your IELTS test through the internet. I'm also going to talk about various locations you can take the test at. I'm going to explain everything you need to know about booking your IELTS test online, so do follow along. You don't need to waste your time and physically go to any location to book your IELTS test, as you can do it in the comfort of your own home when you log onto the internet. So let's get started. Step 1, go to my.ieltsessentials.com. This is the website. Step 2, you need to choose either the Standard IELTS or the UKVI IELTS. The Standard IELTS is on the left, the UKVI IELTS is on the right. So we're going to choose the Standard IELTS because most students who are taking the IELTS will be taking the Standard IELTS. If you want to immigrate to the UK or study in the UK, then you will need to take the UKVI IELTS. Step 3, select country and other filters. So we're going to select Singapore, and the location will also be Singapore. And you can select other filters too. For example, the month, the type of IELTS, are you doing the academic or general training IELTS, and special requirements if needed. Now, before booking your exam, there are a few questions that you want to ask yourself, and I'm going to go through a few of this. Number 1, am I ready to take the IELTS exam? Number 2, which type of IELTS do I need to take, the academic or general training type? And number 3, we're going to talk about other important considerations. So let's talk about the first question, am I ready to take the IELTS exam? Firstly, you should take note that 2 million plus IELTS exams are taken every year. And based on my 5 to 10 years of IELTS teaching experience, I would say that most students take it more than once. Many students take it a few times, and many students also take it more than 5 or 10 times. So most students take it more than once before they pass. Why? Because basically, before they took the exam, they didn't ask themselves, am I ready? If you're not ready, you're going to fail. And you're going to waste a lot of money. Each IELTS exam costs $340 or more. And you're going to waste a lot of time. And probably more importantly, you are going to get very discouraged because you failed your exam and it is not exactly a good feeling failing your exam at all. Therefore, in order not to waste your time and money, you need to ask yourself, what is my current score? And also, what is my target score? So you have to move from your current score to your target score. And in order to do that, you will need to study really hard. Now, studying very hard is important, but also using the correct strategies, the correct methods, the correct tips, understanding all this, getting good preparation, all this will help to cut short your study time period, but you definitely do have to study hard. Let me share with you a secret statistic. This is taken from IELTS Handbook 2002. This particular statistic I'm going to show you is not available in the handbook from 2003 onwards, but it says in 2002, recommendation for hours of language tuition are influenced by a number of effective variables. It has been shown that individuals can take up to 200 hours to improve by one IELTS band. So therefore, you really need to know that if, for example, you've taken the IELTS exam before, you are at a level 6, you got a band score of 6, and you want to get a band score of 7. This statistic just told you that you have to spend up to 200 hours to improve by one IELTS band. That's an overall band score. Okay, reading, writing, listening, and speaking. If you're not sure exactly what your current score is, what your current level is, you can go to this website, amireadyforielts.com. The second thing you should know is which type of IELTS do I need to take, the academic or general training type. Now, the academic IELTS is basically for further studies. If you're taking your master's degree, if you're taking your PhD, if you're even taking your bachelor or even a diploma, normally you would require the academic IELTS. As for the general training, it's normally used for immigration purposes, but sometimes academic IELTS is also needed for immigration. And remember, you also need to know whether you're taking the Standard IELTS or the UKVI IELTS as we talked about just now. Is this confusing? Probably it is to many students. If you're not sure whether to take the academic IELTS or the general training IELTS, and if you're not sure whether you need to take the Standard IELTS or the UKVI IELTS, go to this website, whichielts.com, and you will be able to find out. The third thing you need to do before you book your exam is to think of some other important considerations. Firstly, how often is the IELTS exam? Normally 4 times a month the IELTS exam will be available, 3 Saturdays and 1 Thursday. The academic IELTS is available for all 4 days, and the general training is available for 2 of the 4 days. However, some months there are fewer dates available in Singapore. Example, October and December 2017, there are about 2 or 3 days available only. The next thing you need to know is when are the IELTS results released. They're released 13 days after your written paper. When I mean written paper, I mean your listening, your reading, and your writing. Therefore, if you have a deadline, you need to take your exam earlier than 13 days before the deadline. The next thing, which exam venue? You have to reach the place by 8 a.m. to register for your IELTS on the day itself. So make sure it's near to somewhere where you stay. Now, there are about 6 different locations. Let me show you the locations right now. So these are the 6 different locations. The first is Academies Australasia College. The second is Ascend Education Centre. Third is Beacon International College. Then you have IDP itself, which is at RALC. Then you have the IDY Academy, the Jurong campus. And finally, the 6th is the PSB Academy City campus at Marina Square. And this is the exact locations of all these exam venues. As you can see, this is placed according to the different MRT stations. So let's go through each one individually. Academies Australasia College is at 45 Middle Road. That's about 6 minutes walk from Bugis MRT or 8 minutes walk from City Hall MRT. Ascend Education Centre is at 19 Carpenter Street. That's about 2 minutes walk from Clarke Quay MRT. Beacon International College is about 5 bus stops from Novena or Toa Payoh MRT. IDP Singapore is about 2 bus stops from Stevens MRT and 3 bus stops from Orchard MRT. IDY Academy, the Jurong campus, is about 3 bus stops from Jurong East MRT and 2 bus stops from Bukit Batok MRT. And lastly, PSB Academy, the City campus, is at Marina Square, and that's about 3 minutes walk from Esplanade MRT. So here you see again all the different exam venues on the MRT map. Make sure you choose an exam venue which is closest to you, or you could also choose one which is the easiest to get to. But very often, it's really just choosing the one which has a particular time slot, a particular date for the date that you require, because not every single location is available on every date. The next thing you need to know is when your speaking test date is. Remember that 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. is your listening, reading, and writing. That is the main paper. You arrive at 8 a.m. in the morning to register for the exam, bring your ID, and then you start at about 9 and you finish around 12 p.m. But the speaking test is either going to be on the afternoon of the same day, or it could be the day before your main paper. In non-IDP exam venues, speaking is in the afternoon of the same day. However, for the IDP exam venue, it's going to be either on the afternoon of the same day or the day before. So let's just take a look for A, B, and C, E, and F. These are the non-IDP exam venues. The speaking test is going to be on the afternoon of the main paper. For IDP, there's an option for it to be on the afternoon of the main paper, or there's also an option for it to be on the day before, so on a Friday rather than on a Saturday. The Saturday would be your exam and the Friday will be your speaking test. This option is where you're able to take the main paper on a Thursday and the speaking on Wednesday or Thursday. If you're not exactly sure how it works, then when you go to register for the exam, and we're going to the website soon, on the left you will see a date. For example, here it's 16 December 2017, and that particular date is the date of the main paper. And to the right, you will see the date of the speaking test. Okay, so here it is 16 December, also on the same day. So let's right now go to step 4. I'll show you live how you can choose your location and the date. So let's say we choose November. We are going to take the academic IELTS. We click Apply Filter, and we want to choose the location and the date. Maybe we will choose IDP. We click on this, and as you can see on the left is the date of the main paper, the listening, the reading, and the writing. And here is the date of the speaking test. So for both, this is 11th of November on a Saturday. So just click seats available and click continue. Once you've done that, step 5 is that you create a new user and fill in your details, or you log in if you're an existing user. So probably for most of you, you're going to be a new user. So just click create new user. So let's just fill in the details. Your gender, date of birth. I'm just gonna fill this in. Of course, these are not real details. Let's use passport. Most of you are going to use a passport if you're not a Singaporean. So let's put Philippines, first language. Is that Filipino here? Telephone, either one of telephone or mobile. Email address, I'm going to create an email address. Occupation, now all these pieces of information doesn't really have any effect on your grades. Okay, this is just for their research purposes. Postal address, let's put Singapore. Here you can put no, or if you want to receive some I guess marketing or promotion materials by email, you can put yes. Then they give you a username, fill in your password. Remember, this is just to create an account, a new user. This one you can't change, but this you can. Then now you have this particular pop-up box where you have to accept the terms and conditions, and you can read through all that. Most people are not going to read through that, but here you will see that they want to remind you once again that this test is not the UKVI test. This, as we selected just now, it is the standard IELTS test, not the IELTS UKVI. So if you want to travel to the UK, if you're immigrating there, or if you want to study there, then you should not have chosen this particular IELTS pathway. Okay, you should have clicked the one just now on the right for IELTS for UKVI. So just click I have read, continue on. The next step basically is that you need to fill in your application details. So you go ahead with this. Again, this is not really going to matter that much. No, where are you currently studying English again? You can put it. You probably don't need to put it. I'm just going to put IELTS University. And your identification document. You must add a clear and legible copy of your ID document. You must bring this attached ID to the test. This is the only form of identification that will be accepted on the test day, and it must be valid and not expired on the test day. If you're taking the test outside of your home country, then you must supply a passport document. So if you're a Singaporean, you're taking the exam in Singapore, you can use your IC, but we are going to use the passport. Most of you are not Singaporeans, so you need to use your passport. So put the passport number, the expiry date. Okay, probably you need it at least 6 months. It cannot be expired within 6 months, so I'm going to put a date like that. And then it says here, please upload a copy of your ID document, which must include the following information: ID document number, expiry date, image of yourself, your name, date of birth, and signature if it appears on the ID document. You can only attach one document. If your photo and signature are on separate pages, please insert both items into a single Word or PDF document. The photo Within the ID, document must be clear and meet our format guidelines. 800 times 700 pixels, less than 1.5 megabytes, and in these possible formats. Please ensure that the digital copy you import is clear and legible. So now, it says here select image, but it's actually select a file, because if all this is on more than one image, more than one page, then of course it says here that you need to insert these items into a single Word or PDF. So you can select a document. I'm gonna do that right now. As you see, I've selected a Word document with an image there. Continue. Next, step 7, add recognizing organizations. This is optional. If you want your results to be sent to a particular organization, you can do this. You can add there. If not, just continue. Go down. This is the information you provided. Step 8, accept terms and conditions. Click here. Again, you see this again. Continue. Continue. Step 9, pay offline or online. So now you need to pay. There are basically 2 options, or maybe even 3 options, but if you click pay now, then it'll lead you to PayPal, and you can pay using PayPal using your credit card. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, then you just have to call them up, which means basically you got to do the pay offline method. And let's take a look at the pay offline method. The pay offline method basically is not paying using PayPal, right? Not paying using their online method. So the other option besides paying using PayPal is to pay offline. So let's click on this. And so what it says here is that if you're paying offline, you will now need to pay for your test at your nominated test center within 2 days. If payment is not made within 2 days, your booking will automatically be cancelled. All right, so what paying offline means is basically 2 things. Firstly, you could go down to IDP at RELC and pay them in cash, your IELTS exam fees. Or the other option, I'm not sure if they accept credit cards. They may accept credit cards there or debit cards there also. The other option is to do a transfer. Now, the way to do a transfer, you could do a bank transfer. They will accept that. First, let's just go to details here where you will see the test center details. Now, remember, if there's any questions, all you need to do is call these numbers. This looks like a mobile number, so you could probably call that too. But if you want to do a transfer, this is what you could do. You could call this hotline, you could call that mobile number, and you could actually tell them, I want to do a bank transfer, and they should be able to give you their bank details and account number, etc., so you can do that transfer. Okay, so that is another option that you have. So there are 3 options basically. The first is to pay online, which is basically using PayPal. The second is to go down to the center and pay either in cash or using your credit or debit card. You have to call them just to find out whether they accept debit cards and credit cards, but I believe they do. And the third option is to just do a bank transfer. You could do that in an ATM, or if you have internet banking, you can just easily transfer it to their account. Just make sure you get their account information. Call them to get their account information. Okay, let's look at the emails that you're gonna get. You're gonna get 2 emails. The first one is the one with the subject IELTS Essentials website access, and they will send you an email with your username. Remember, this is the email that you will get after you fill in your details, your new user name, and your password. So this email just gives you information about your username. The next email has a subject line IELTS Essentials account information, and this is the email that you'll get after you've done your payment. So if you paid offline, if you click on the pay offline method, then you're going to get an email like this, and they're going to say, please note that you have to make your payment not later than 3 days before 11 November 2017. That was the date I booked. Now, this is wrong, and I've confirmed it with IDP. This is not meant to be like that. They're going to give you only 2 days after you place your booking on the website. So just ignore this. As I mentioned already, you have to either go down to IDP and pay them, right? Tell them your username, your name, etc., and pay the fees, $340 for the standard IELTS. Or you could just give them a call and tell them your name, tell them your username, and say that you want to do a transfer, and they will give you the transfer information, their bank details. But this has to be done, this payment has to be done not more than 2 days after you registered on the website. Because if you do it more than 2 days after that, your information could, your place could be given up, your information could be gone, and they would not reserve a slot for you. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about your IELTS registration or IELTS in general, you can WhatsApp me at 9768-1054. Before I end, some students may be wondering about my IELTS classes, so this is some information if you're interested. You can go to www.ieltsuniversity.com. There you can also go to /testimonials to see 170 plus student testimonials of those who have come to my class and passed their IELTS exam. And finally, you can also go to /class-feedback to read more about what students have said about my classes. Once again, if you have any questions about your IELTS registration or IELTS in general, or my IELTS classes, you can WhatsApp me, Jonathan, at 9768-1054.